welcome back. I'm Phiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV with Ring Diaries, where we talk about anything and everything to do with marriage. Before we went for the break, we're talking about children and marriage. Children are a gift in marriage, but how should we act around them? How should we act? How should we treat them so that we continue their marriages without disruptions? And with me is Mr. and Mrs. Kizito. And before the break, they were telling us how children should never come between the two of you. They should be on the side, and then when they grow up, they also know how to treat their spouses. Um, on that note, how are we as parents? Should we set an example for these children? How should we behave around them? How should we act around them to keep our bond in marriage, but also to impact the children?
One of the key aspects that our children should watch from us is how we respect each other in marriage, and how mommy submits to daddy, and how also daddy honors mommy. A scripture speaks in Ephesians, I think 5:21. It starts by saying submit wives. No, it starts by saying submit one to another, and then later on down it says wives submit to your husbands. Most times we want to pick up the female one of women submit. And then we skip the verse 21, which submit one to another. In other words, there are moments when the head gets submit to the neck. The men are the head and the women are the neck. There are moments when mommy would have a more superior idea or an opinion that would help the family, and there is need for daddy to submit to that opinion so that the family functions better. And when children begin to see how you respect and honor each other, they begin to enjoy the beauty of marriage. And that's a good way to respect each other. Some families we've met where a woman shouts instructions to her husband, bring me that thing, get me that. And then the children grow up so intimidated, and now who is the head here? Wondering where the head has gone. There must be a hierarchy where you respect him. Men, we ought to love them, and they respect us. You will never get respect where you have not put love. So when we love them, we receive the respect. When they also respect us, they receive the love. That's how God created it to flow better. So children should grow up with an upright image that there is respect and harmony in this relationship, as mommy and daddy get to live in this home to raise them to be better children. Maybe my wife has something to say.
Yeah. Children are also supposed to get the value of God-fearing from home. It starts from home. When you don't show the children God, the world will show them something else.
That's true.
So they have to start all the way. Of course, they learn it from us. There is something simple we do at home. Every time we come from work, we kneel down and pray. And it is something that has stuck in the children's lives, and they usually do it whether we are around or not. Then character. Character is something that is disturbing us nowadays. We are very good, some of us who are leaders, we are very good maybe at the pulpit, we are very good out there at our workplaces, but when you interact with the actual person, that's when you get to know that character was not inbuilt. So we have to be very intentional with our children when we are teaching them how the world is, how we behave, how we treat people, how we greet people, how we do it. Not only maybe when visitors come around, but every single time. They have to know, they have to grow up knowing that this is good and this is bad. It all starts from home. So we have to sit our children down. They have to learn. We have to be intentional and teach them A to Z of life. We don't keep it to a particular age and say maybe when they reach 20 and they are going out after campus, I will sit them. It starts as young as of course, there are some things you teach to a particular age, but then you go on building it up, telling them about life. Yes.
And then someone will tell you, I have done all the right things. I've respected my husband. He has loved me. We've set a good example for our children. But somehow the child just chooses to go wrong.
Yeah. There are those scenarios when you've done your part and children do not follow your path. We have a topic we teach in parenting, raising a strong-willed child. There are particular children who will not follow the trend. They will always live in an opposite direction from what you have instructed. And it's not that you've not done your efforts, you've actually done. So in the early formation years, we want you to do your part and wash your hands and say, I played my part, and let God play a role. Hoping and believing that the roots you are putting to them, one day they'll guide them. It has been noted that children who are always very difficult tend to turn out to be world changers. They don't follow the routine, they don't keep the status quo, and they are high dreamers in life. So if you continuously hope that what you parented will one day work, sure, these children come through. So in the parenting years, we don't lose heart. Actually, we parent, they even leave home. Some have already left home, and they left it the way they left it was not a goodbye. You usually tell children who are listening, if you're a child and you're watching, when you reach time of leaving your parents' house, it should be a goodbye, not a bad bye. Don't live as a rebel. Make sure you live well. However, you parents, if a child has left home and left as a rebel, very difficult, don't give up. Stay praying for that child. Such children change the world. They disturb us, but years later, they bring out the fruit we are looking for.
So how come many a times as parents, and I want us as parents to understand, we start playing the blame game of it's you. That child is like that because how do we handle that? And that now this strong-willed child,
Yes.
as in our marriage, so it does not get between us as a couple.
You want to give a go? Okay, let me start off. When a strong-willed child comes into a family, most especially if you have gotten 3-4 children, most times you'll find there is one child who doesn't easily fall in the mold very easily, and it's not a good time for us to throw the blame game. Just know God has given you that child. One, they test our character. Children reveal who we really are, whether we are patient. There's certain things that we never healed about us, the anger, how you react. So these children are testers. It has been said that a smooth sea has never raised a skillful sailor. A parent who has had only soft children will never say you're a perfect parent, because you've not been tested by one. So when we get this stubborn child, it's not a time to play games. It's a time to reflect on our character, how we are raised, and what gaps are we missing that we can actually begin to work on. There are parenting styles that work on strong-willed children. Unlike the authoritative parenting style, for those who know parenting, authoritative, where you give the rules but explain the reason for the rules. You can give that to an obedient child who falls in a mold. But to a strong-willed child, we deploy a mixture of two, authoritative and authoritarian. Authoritarian, where I give rules, and when you ask, because I have said so.
I am your father.
I'm your
Don't
father.
you know I'm your mother?
I was told when you hear a parent begin to ask his children that, don't you know I'm your father? It is a sign you have a deficiency in parenting. Because they already know you are their father, but the moment
Maybe
you
they have
begin questioning,
And also to add on the blame game that usually comes up, that simply implies that maybe you have been an involved parent. Because in the types of parenting, we have that other uninvolved. So if you start to ask or to blame the other, it means that you were not available to also play your part. This parenting thing is supposed to be a two-way. When mommy does her part, also the father does their part. But the moment you leave it to one person, that is when we come in and say, you didn't do this, or your muwalao, ya mzala nani. Together. So it is supposed to be a two-way thing. Let's all get involved. Let's help out. When daddy is speaking about maybe education, mommy speak about behavior, speak about dress code. When daddy is speaking about maybe faith, prayer, and so on, also come in and play the part, such that when maybe perfection that you admire and desire doesn't come out, you know that we did this together, but somewhere, somehow, things didn't work out. But let's believe God. You know, children are given to us by God. We just do the role of raising the children, but it's God who pays us. We cannot say that we are going to do exactly the way we want. Let's put these children before God and trust Him to do the best. For us, we do what we can, and then God does the rest. Yes.
That's understandable.
Let me say something as well. By wiring and by make, when you go back in Genesis, God first created the garden and created man and put him in a garden to till the garden. Later on, gives him Eve. So we were first given work before we were given Eve. And most times, what men do is that
That's okay.
when we get into a marriage relationship, we tend to concentrate more on their work and forget their wife and the children. Because by wiring, we were first given work before we were given Eve. So if we are not tamed, most times work takes us and we forget the role of pouring ourselves in the children. So a stubborn child grows home, the mom fails, dad is abroad, and in the end we get a defiant child. And yet you had a role to play. Much as you're very busy and working and trying to win the bread all over the place, you need to slow down and spend time with your wife. It is important and it is healthy for the marriage.
Okay. I was going to go back to, but people will say we need the money to make marriages. Without money also it is inyumba. So people will say I need to make the money to make this marriage work, to take the children to the good schools, to do all that comes with money. But anyway, how about the way we treat our parents? Us now, the children's grandparents. How does that impact on us right now?
It's been told what we see in the West is more likely to come to our country, where people who have grown are taken to elderly homes to stay, and our children are likely to take us to elderly homes.
That when I see it coming, they're going to send us away
in elderly dormitories to stay there, because they don't know how to look after an older person, because they never saw you treat your parents well. So the way you treat your parents, who are their grandparents, shows the picture of how they are going to treat you. Create good memories with grandparents. Visit them. Let it be a grand home returning. My children look forward to Christmas. We are planning to go 26. Yeah, they look forward to that day. We park the car. They look forward to that. They have piggy banks. They've been saving since the year began. They are saving money for Jaja. They want to buy. One of them said, I want Jaja to taste some of the things we eat here, noodles.
Can't imagine Jaja eating noodles.
And I'm like,
but anyway.
yeah. And my daughter said, yeah, Jaja needs to eat some noodles.
I've never eaten pizza, so I need to.
Yeah, so they've saved some money. So this Christmas we're going back. But we are painting a picture of what they will do to us when they grow up. Are parents for discarding? Are they for throwing away? Or they are for visiting, for honoring? When you call on phone and say, again he's calling. Again, your Jaja is calling. And they ask, what is that? Mommy, why are you distressed? Again, your Jaja is calling. She's, yes, why don't you pick? Every time Jaja calls, needs money. So when you see children as your parents as a burden, in future you have trained the same. In parenting, we don't produce our likes, we produce our type. You produce exactly who you are. So you're going to produce children who are tired of you.
But then how about for some of us who have no relationships with our parents? How do we start going to visit over Christmas? Or even most of us, we only visit our parents actually at Christmas time. You find the whole year goes by and you see your father once in a year.
Yeah.
when they visit us and you see things go deteriorating. So if you're visiting once, they won't visit. They won't visit us at
The
all.
relationship that you had at the beginning, children bond more with parents they have grown up with, who have been taking good care of them and teaching them the right way. But if we grow up in different homes, different places, your parents are also discarding you away to other relatives to take care of you, you find that the bond is not strong enough for you. However, since we have grown up and we know what is right, we have to do what is right. You know that a parent is supposed to be honored, is supposed to be loved, much as the bond may not be as so close as I have friends who call their parents every single day, every single after 6 hours. But it may be hard for someone who was not raised by those parents. But when you get to know that it's important to have parents, it's important, it's a blessing to have them alive, then you play your role as a child. You visit them, you call them, even when it is hard. They usually say it's hard but possible. Even if it's hard, you can make it possible by doing what is right.
You could be watching this program and all your years you've been detached from your parents for a very long time. Maybe this program comes to people like you to begin making amends with your parents. I know sometimes absent parents leave scars on us and we struggle to forgive them and visit them. This time don't send them mobile money. Go visit them and give them money live, or buy meat, some groceries, and just have some short time of Christmas with them to create a picture for your children that parents are not for throwing away, but they are for giving time so they can grow up with a balanced picture of grandparents. Yes.
So, and when you're talking about that, we have a fellowship where we found most of our parents have actually either not even separated actually, but one is living in Bushenyi, one is in Kampala, like because all the children have gone away. And I fear that is where we head if we do not work on what we are talking about.
Yeah.
How do we avoid that? Because you find what was gluing us together was the children. The conversations were and that is what we are talking about. Then now there is no fees to pay. What am I talking to you about? And I end up, you know what, there's a house in Bushenyi. Let me go there before you stay.
In the house in Kampala.
So we found that most of us, I think out of 10, it was like 8 of us, our parents, everyone was living. They are not separated, but everyone is actually doing their own things. How do we avoid ending up like that? Now that we at least know, how do we avoid that?
I want to start with a statement. Whatever you've disliked in others, make sure you change in yourself. The end result of what you've seen our parents go through, you don't like it.
Yes.
So it will be good now to start changing now. Because the older way of raising children was we would raise them in the center. We use children against each other. We pour our secrets in children. Actually, your husband doesn't know your pin codes. It's the children who knows them. Your secret, the land you're buying, every other thing, you're secretive, but within children, and your spouse misses you. So when children have grown and the nest is empty and you're with a stranger, then the separation happens, which is sad. Now that you have listened to this, to change what we've seen in others, which has been negative, we can now start by putting children in the sides and putting our spouses closer and invest in our spouses so that in the future, as children go our way, we stay close friends for a lifetime. Remember, everyone comes to go apart from you and your spouse, who are in this thing for a lifetime, if God has given you the grace.
In the faith, what do we do, especially as? And I keep hearing people complaining that now it's Christmas time, children are going to come, they give mommy money, daddy they give
Daddy
bamuwa kebiri. That's if they've ever given you, then the rest of the money is with mommy. I don't know. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah.
You find even when we go to the village, yes, we say we are going to the village, we'll all sit around mommy And we talk when daddy's poor man is sitting there alone.
He's sitting alone.
Yes.
It takes us back to the beginning, the very beginning. When Mr. Kizito was talking about the gap, it takes us back there. But as parents, let's try to bridge that gap. Let's not put the children in the middle. Let's work closer. Like, let's be close that we cannot be separated. I have seen a wife who dies because the husband died. What do you call it? Immediately the husband dies,
They
the
can't
wife
live without.
they can't live without, because they had a strong bond. But here, because we bridged the bond, there was no bond, we put a space, we put a very big gap, so it becomes very easy for everyone to take their own direction. So let's start it from the foundation, at the beginning of it all. It's going to carry on, because when a house has a strong foundation, it's very hard for it to fall. So it is falling in future because the foundation was weak. So let's.
So Faith, for some of our viewers there may be saying, but now for me already I put the children in that mid. What do I do? Is it too late for me to do something about it?
No, it is never late to start. It is never late to start. Actually, we say, where it has been, be intentional today, start it, do what is right, remove the children from the middle. Those children will empty nest and they leave, and the moment they leave, you'll have a lonely home, a lonely house, and you look at your husband like, what is this? As if I've not known him for years. So we can start now, because parenting never stops. It starts when the baby is still inside the womb, and you still carry it on. So don't say that it is too late for me to do this. You can start right away and do what you're supposed to do as a mother, as a husband, as anyone out there.
Interesting.
There is what we call recreational intimacy, starting doing activities together as a couple, so that children don't steal away every other thing from you. Recreate together, have that time. If a man loves soccer, you can watch a ball game together.
No.
My
No.
ma-
But
ma-
continue.
my mom was a mother of 6 boys, and for her to better fit in our lives, to really build memories, she had to actually get to accept football as a game. And I remember going to Nambole, and she had paid the tickets for the boys to watch. Mommy built a very strong bond with boys. Recently I've been a father of girls, and I was trying to learn how to recreate with girls, and it's not just been a walk in the park,
It cannot.
being in netball, watching cartoons, going for ice cream, going for shopping. Now men
It's
we
always
hate
escorted them to the salon.
yeah, I've also been to saloon, but
He
the
even
worst of
opted
it
to
is,
learn how to play
yes,
tennis.
I had gone to enroll to learn plating, and the lady who was going to train me laughed the whole time. What are you doing in plating here? I want to really create more recreation time with my children.
So we also need to be intentional with our spouses. As we come to the end of this beautiful conversation, anything for our viewers that you think you'd want to tell them?
Our viewers, we are talking about marriage and children. Maybe I want to re-echo a few of the key things I was mentioning for us to remember. For us to be able to be in our children's memories tomorrow, we must first be in their lives today. Secondly, when God gives you children, He has given you a project of 18 years. Parent with the purpose, knowing that this project, if I've done good work, it will spend in my home 18 years and it will grow. If it is shoddy work, be assured that 40 years will be struggling to move those children away from your home. And lastly, treat your wife well. When treat her as a queen, she'll treat you as a king. Enjoy the marriage. Don't age in the marriage by stress. Keep it simple. Enjoy one day at a time. Stay young in the marriage. How we tell marriage is really taking you is when you take it mechanical, you are fighting, you are only 3 years in the marriage, but you are so aged. Keep it easy. God will help you and give you a better marriage. Thank you for watching.
Thank you very much. And Faith?
Yes, I would want to say that marriage is a beautiful thing if you make it beautiful. For us parents who are raising children, Let's take it that we are raising a beautiful egg, and when two eggs that are good meet, they will form a good omelette. But when one is bad and one is good, you will form an omelette that is smelly, that is bad, that is not pleasing to the community, society, and everyone around you. So as you raise, let us raise those two beautiful eggs to form a beautiful omelette, because marriage is a sweet thing, it's a beautiful thing, and everyone desires to be at peace and in a good state while married.
Thank you very much, Faith. Thank you very much, Patrick, for an exciting conversation. And I think our viewers, you've learned one or two things there. And I would say, please, this Christmas, please go give Daddy and Mommy the same amount of money as we are starting afresh, and telling them that we can be together. Be intentional. Even our parents, be intentional about bringing us back. If we've fallen away, bring us back. Find a way of returning us back home, even when we have bad memories of that. I think we can recreate the memories, as he has said, and make parenting a good thing. And for the rest of us, you know what you're doing to your parents, your children are going to do worse to you. So please, please, I beg you, make sure that you treat your parents with respect, so they also know how to treat you with respect. And for our spouses, let us love our spouses. Those children are going in a very short a time. Even before you know it, they will have left you. So it will be so sad if you're left with someone who you do not know anything about. So let's be intentional. Let's love our marriages, but also love our children. Thank you for watching. I'm Phiona Mbowa here at Church of Uganda Family TV with Ring Diary.